Yes, sir. Got my Birdman rub on.
Yes, sir. About that time.
What it look like? Man,
Chill.
the Hustle Within on SM Enlightenment Television, episode 24. Keyword tonight is accountability. Accountability. So y'all know what that means, accountability. We got to make sure that everybody put accountability first.
Mm-hmm.
And we got, man, we just got to be safe out here, man. Accountability, keyword. But hey, man, how my guys doing? K Mills look like he at Miami Beach.
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling.
Like he might be in Niagara Falls somewhere.
Yeah.
At the casino. I don't know, Rap. Y'all boys flossing tonight. I don't know what's going on. Man,
Hey.
I just got on some regular clothes tonight, man. I don't know about this. And man, we got a good top five too, man. We're gonna jump right into it. The top five most famous pirates of all time. Top 5 famous pirates of all time. Yes, sir. What you got for me, K Mills? What you got for me? Name one. Give me one.
Blackbeard.
Oh my God, man. Come on now. How you gonna go to the top? You went to the number. I know you looked at my notes, man. I know for sure.
Everybody know Blackbeard, man.
You in Miami on the coast. I know you looked at my notes. All right, Los, what you got for me?
Bernie Madoff.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. That's a modern day pirate. Yes, sir. Hey, we're gonna talk about him a little bit too. But number 5, we got a female, Annie Bunny.
Oh yeah. I remember.
Very. She's one of the top female pirates of all time. One of the known.
She was in that movie, right?
Robbed. All of them was stealing from Spain, from Europe. We got to show people that we diverse. So that's the reason I picked the pirate topic tonight, the top 5. We really talked about that because we got to know that, before these people were stealing money out here, Bernie Madoff and all these other people, the modern day pirates were stealing money. We also have some pirates that was on the seas stealing money, like Captain Jack Sparrow type situation. Annie Bunny.
Yep.
First female well-known pirate that was documented. I know they say it was more female pirates, but she was documented as the top, one of the famous female pirates. Number 4, Henry Avery. Yeah, Henry Avery. Yeah, he looked like he's more of a the classical pirate. Like he's one of the ones that could be a gentleman and rob you at the same time. Take all your money and rob you and be a gentleman at it. Yeah.
Not like Christopher Columbus.
Sound like he might say bloody a lot. Bloody. Yes. And we got number 3, William Kidd.
Oh man,
okay.
That's George Washington's son, ain't it?
Yes, sir. That don't look like a kid to me, but yeah, William Kidd. Yeah,
It might be Jason Kidd.
William Kidd looked like he could also be saying bloody a lot. Bloody. Let me get to my Monty bloody. Talk like that. But yeah, William Kidd. And number 2, Vladimir Roberts. So Vladimir Roberts. Yeah, he looked like a traditional pirate. He looked like a traditional pirate. From back then. And our number one hitter, Blackbeard. That's the one I know. That's the man I know right there, Blackbeard. So King Los, what you talk to me about these top 5? Anybody that stands out and you want to, you elaborate a little bit about?
Well, honestly, I thought you was gonna say Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, I did. I spoke him up a little.
Okay. But these they done started it all. I don't know what they were stealing, right? Because a couple of those ships look like some of those what is it called, the Pan-Atlantic slave ships.
Oh,
one of those ships looked like
hey, some of them might have been. They used to steal the ship. They used to steal them ships.
Because those are
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that because Blackbeard used to take the slaves and let them hang with him, and they became pirates. They want slaves no more.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Blackbeard.
Okay, I didn't know that. Thanks,
Yeah.
K Mills.
That's why I got all black on. Blackbeard, supporting Blackbeard. I got all black on.
What about the black and
Blackbeard.
white beard?
Hey, I'm a pirate. Sure. But yeah, Blackbeard, and also Blackbeard is one of the pirates that is known in North Carolina, like known very big in the coast of North Carolina.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
they used to all come to North Carolina.
Yeah, he says his treasure is actually buried on the coast somewhere in the Carolinas. So what do you think about that, K Mills? What do you think about that lost treasure? You think you gonna go out there and get it?
Well, I mean, if I can get a map, I think me and the sword can make it out there to get it.
Yes, sir. Hey, you know how to swim, don't you?
Oh yeah, I can swim.
Okay, well then yeah, you good then, rap. I don't know how to swim, so I can't go out there with you. I can't hang with you that night. I can't hang with you that day.
They got lifeguards and floaters.
Partners. You can invest in the Captain Venture Partners. Give me a little couple dollars.
Yes, sir.
King Los, what you got? Top 5. Any pirate that we missed that you might?
Yep.
Okay, King C. Los, who you got for me?
Anybody that we missed?
Yeah.
Man. You know, I can't even think of anybody back in that era, right? Just kind of thinking through it. But you know, I know some current pirates. Huh?
What do you think about Miss Annie Bunny, the female pirate?
Well, I mean, despite her thievery, she was making waves, no pun intended.
Right.
For females to represent criminality in that respect.
She was real, man. And she was
women empowerment. That was women empowerment back then. It was women empowerment.
Yeah.
Because she was stepping up and doing the same thing that these guys was doing, and she wasn't intimidated. So I would say, yeah, that's a step up. That was a step up into that world. Even though it was criminal, but it was also one of these worlds that she was able to step into and be successful at and be mentioned in this top 5 right here, the top 5 tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, K Mills, anybody that you felt like we missed or we should have talked about, or
probably Captain Hook.
Captain Hook. Oh my God.
He was famous.
Oh,
they said he was real.
Hey, can you see Los? Any other? oh my God, Peter Pan. We're talking about Peter Pan. Lost Boys.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
we gotta talk about Peter Pan and the Lost Boys also. Yes, but yeah, man, definitely the top 5 was good. But we also got modern day pirates like Bernie Madoff, which he just passed recently. He was a modern day pirate. He was that's my honorable mention tonight, Bernie Madoff.
Okay.
He was someone that took pensions. He took retirements. He took 401ks. A lot of these people that was saving up their money to make something happen, to live life after they retired. He took all their money and basically hid it. Can't find it. The government can't find it.
That sounds like a pirate to me.
That's a pirate.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the modern day Blackbeard. What do you think about that, King C. Los? Elaborate a little bit on that. Bernie Madoff.
Man, Bernie Madoff.
Hey,
he did. Yeah,
my homeboy, rap.
So they did a movie about Bernie. Robert De Niro played him, but it was interesting because of course you don't know about these people until something happens, right? And dude stole a bunch of pension money and left people broke. I mean, some of these people went and committed suicide and all that stuff. So just imagine, like, you worked up your whole life and you are on the cusp of retirement, and then somebody steals your pension.
Right.
It's like, I'm 60 years old. What am I going to go out here and get a job, work another 40 years just to build up that money? You're not going to live long enough. So, of course, he got I think he got like 300 years because he wouldn't cooperate with the government.
Right.
He wouldn't tell where the money was hidden. That money is still outstanding right now.
Right. Somewhere.
Still outstanding. Yep, somewhere. Yep. So, unfortunately,
well, we got
modern day
money, man. Hey, I think we can find that money, Ralph, and help these people out. I think we can do it. Captain Venture Partners. I think we can go find the money, man.
That's right.
I think we can go find that money and put that money back in the hands of these people that need to go retire, and then they can circle back around and invest with us at Capital Venture Partners.
Or leave it to their will.
Yeah. So, man, hey, but yeah, this is that. Just any final thoughts on this topic, man? This was one of these history topics that we had to really speak on, and something that we had to get out of our system, because we talk about a lot of the gangster stuff, so we want people to know that we diverse. We're not just talking about gangster stuff every week, even though this is gangster a little bit. We're not talking about it every week, so we had to step up and show some history, knowledge of history. K Mills, any final thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, I just wish I'd have found that boom boom room they had, like a strip club island the pirates used to go to and hang out.
Okay.
Just found that.
Boom boom.
Yeah.
The boom boom room.
King C. Los, any final thoughts on this topic?
No, it just, I mean, I'll say this. It's just, just kind of like touching on this topic was, to your point, just kind of point out our repertoire of subjects and knowledge and all that good stuff. So it was good to kind of mix it up, go in a different direction and get it out.
In our season 1, we talked about we had some good topics where we talked about some history. We talked about the plagues of around the world, the last top 5 deadliest plagues of the world. So we had some history in that season 1. So season 2, we had to bring it back a little bit. But man, we got to jump into our next topic, and it's a serious topic, and I think it's affecting the community and families, and it's drug abuse. This is the shooting the breeze topic. We're talking about drug abuse and the lasting effects on families and friends. So my first question: can drugs have a lasting effect on long term on your family and your friends? King C. Los.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all can relate to having and knowing somebody that was on drugs or what have you.
Right.
And whether it's directly or indirectly, we're impacted. Like your family, you may have somebody on drugs that maybe stealing from you just to kind of feed their habit.
Right.
Or you may have someone that gets aggressive, whether it's beating their spouse or significant other, or attacking family members, or beating their kids, abusing their kids. And drugs, so that happens, right? And just really thinking about why people get on drugs. One, some people are more susceptible to addiction. And then 2, some people think that's the outlet to deal with some of the, their normal daily problems, right? So they see that as their gateway. And sometimes it start out with recreational drugs that we call recreational or just minor. Sometimes it's prescribed, right? So it could go any different direction on how you get hooked on drugs. But I've seen it. I personally seen it in my family. Seen it.
Right. Yeah, me too. Yeah. So, what are some of the lasting effects of drug abuse? K. Mills, what are some of the lasting effects of drug abuse? I guess from a health perspective and also from a personal perspective. Like, what would you think would be some of the lasting effects of drug abuse?
Losing a lot of weight, like some of our high school crushes.
Okay. Yeah. Losing weight. King C. Los, what are some of the other effects that you can see from drug abuse?
I mean, outside of what K. Mills said, right? I mean, just think about the damage you do to your body, your mind, right?
Your heart,
teeth,
and your teeth. I mean, depending on the drugs. Again, I don't know all the drugs and all that, but I'm sure we could probably have some guests that kind of know about that stuff, right? In them streets. But yeah, I mean, you see what it do to the individual. You see what it do to the community. Think about what it's done to people's careers.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going
famous into. Or non-famous.
Right, going into the famous world. We just lost 2 prominent legends throughout hip hop that was, and it's been documented. This is documented information that both has been on drugs, and they use drugs a lot. So, you know, DMX even talked about his struggles and going back to rehab, back and forth to rehab. And Black Rob, same thing. He talked about his struggles of going back and the rehab with some of the health issues that he had and some of the mental health issues that he had going forward. And so do you think now, looking at the celebrity, celebrity culture, this is a culture now, because people, music culture, you know, you got acting culture. Drugs has always been a part of this entertainment world for these guys to function, to move forward on an everyday basis, to film 30 movies in 1 year. You know, you working yourself with a point where you have no return. You waking up, you don't sleep, you can't sleep. You got to do this movie, that movie, this movie. Drugs are involved with that. And after you've been doing it for 30 years, 20 years, it takes that one dose to take you out. One dose can take you out in your whole career.
Yep.
Like you said, looking at the DMX and the Black Rob, these guys been on drugs for years. You know, God rest their soul. But they documented that they've been on drugs, and they stated that they've been on drugs for years. And it took one dose from you know, the knowledge of DMX. So that one overdose, he took that one overdose that caused him to lose his life.
Right.
Yep. One bad batch.
Right. Go ahead, K Mills.
So that one bad batch. That's it.
Yeah, one bad batch can take you out.
And what it is a culmination of, and again, I don't know, and maybe I'm describing it the way I'm guessing it would be, right? So I think it's all right. Your body, when it's younger, you can do more of these sorts of drugs, whether it's whatever it is. Drinking, you can drink more when you're younger because your body is able to kind of have that tolerance.
Think about us in college.
But once you start compiling up until 50 years old, it becomes shorter and shorter and shorter. Your brain is not telling you that you can't do what you do, because we trick ourselves thinking that we can get out there and still play basketball with 18-year-olds and all that. And the same thing with drugs. And you don't know until you get that you're taking. You see what I mean?
Yeah. So, yeah, I know. It's perfect. That's perfect.
And I remember the time. This is a quick story to tell segment before we jump into the K Mill story to tell. When my nephew, we was out there playing. Matter of fact, K Mill was up there. We was at the park back in my hometown, LB. We were playing at the park. My nephew was out there, and I fell, and I rolled around like a Oopa Loopa. So when I was doing that and I failed, I knew right then and there it was time to retire completely. I retired from basketball completely, competitive basketball. I didn't play. I retired from the NBA. I retired from so I had to let it go, man. Right then and there, I let it go on the spot. So you know what? If I'm falling and I'm playing my nephew right now, and some of the guys that I grew up playing, like K Mills and everybody, and I'm falling down on the ground, and I'm rolling like 30 times, it's time to give it up. Hang it up. Time's up. Time to retire. Game over.
Yeah.
No need of playing basketball anymore.
That ain't
and it doesn't matter if you're in shape. And that's the thing about it. It doesn't matter that you used to taking these drugs or you know these drugs.
But this is
that one bad drug, that one bad batch.
That one bad
batch.
There's stuff that mixing in that dependency.
Right. It's that dependency.
Yeah.
Like drug addiction is that dependency. Like alcoholism. It becomes a dependency for some people. And some people can't control themselves. You know?
Right.
And,
you're right.
And, in every show, they got something in their cup. And you're right.
I got to figure out who's that has that alcohol problem. I got to figure it out.
You got to figure out who it is in their cup.
Hurry.
No, but real talk. I mean, it's a serious conversation.
Drink camps. That's what it probably
right. And we probably need to circle back because I think we missed an opportunity when we were talking about legalizing marijuana, and now we're talking about this conversation. Because guess what? It was marijuana, that gateway drug, that launched the addiction for DMX, right? And that's that's well documented. Now, granted, he was smoking with somebody that he was supposed to have trusted, and it was an older gentleman who laced his marijuana. Right. And believe it or not, that still happens. And just because we legalize it, it's going to continue to happen because people want to get higher and higher and higher. And that's just the way it is. And these and also, and I'll point this out because I think it's relevant to where we are in a society, criminality and drug addiction and all those other things. When you go out there and you start listening and hearing about in the news where these guys are just busting at each other, killing people in the drive-through, because we see a lot of this happening in our communities. It's because they own something. They own something. They not just like, oh, okay. It's like me. Oh, let me clock out of work and let me go get my pistol and let me go shoot up the mall, shoot up the what I mean? That's not normal to want to take someone's life. And drugs only make you braver. Think about when we drink, we braveheart. I won't go into the year of when I was like, all right, I'm about to drive, even though I know I probably shouldn't be driving. Right. And thank God I'm still here.
Man, that used to be the slogan, didn't it?
Yeah, thank God I'm still here. That was the slogan. Yep.
Hey, but man, this is a topic. My last question before we leave this topic: what are some of the faces to this drug? These different drugs. What type of drugs are affecting the young people now? Because young people are really being affected, and they overdosing. These people are 19, 18, 17, 16. I read the magazines on current events. I look at the news. I mean, rappers, actors, normal people, like normal everyday teenagers, they overdosing. I mean, they taking stuff that they dying. They dying every day, man, with this these drugs that nobody ever heard of. And they die from these drugs. So what can we do as a society to help these people to start teaching them? You can't just put everything in your body.
K Mills, I want to hear your thoughts on this.
What can we teach them? Most people are hard-headed, man. They really ain't gonna listen. I mean, you can show them movies, you can show them Rick James, some DMX. Once they on them drugs, man, unless they want to quit, it ain't no stopping.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So really, you can talk about all you want till you turn blue, but it ain't gonna change nothing. But you can start by talking to the people that ain't doing drugs.
Yeah,
that's where you start. The kids is not doing it yet. You catch them early. Once they start doing it, that's it.
But K Mills, and I know we got to move on to the next topic, but I completely 100% agree with you. And I'll probably add that the problem to what we got going on is systemic. And what I mean by that is you see it on TV, you see it like drugs. Hey, you got to have fun. You got to do this, right? Whether it's drinking, whether and these kids pick that up. So you can teach them all you want in school, but then when they get out of school, your lessons that you learn are from TVs, movies, and all that, right? So, and I don't know, right? I mean, how do we curb that from not exposing people? Because I think TV and all that stuff enhances how we react, how we act. So if you see Rambo busting off, you think, all right, I want to bust off like Rambo.
Like Rambo, son.
Even our favorite shows, think about it. Our favorite shows, even some of the most violent shows, it really kind of influenced the way we look at life. Like young people don't care about life anymore. So again, when you start putting them on these, they get on these drugs and all that, they think they Teflon Don, and they going out there doing whatever. What do we do? Stop people? This is America. Like, what do we stop those type of movies and all that? Like, what's the real answer? What's the hard? We got to really make a hard decision and hard choice. What was that?
And the real answer is they're not going to stop drugs. Drugs is too big of a part of the economy. It's big of the economy. You think about a lot of the money that comes through the economy right now is drugs. Our economy is driven by drug use.
Yeah,
that's like you said, from buying guns to buying other like alcohol, that's a drug. That's quote unquote a drug.
Yeah.
Alcohol, marijuana, drug.
Yeah.
And then
oh, they're about to legalize it.
yeah, open.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Most
yeah.
importantly,
Pain pills.
but the drug dealers, right? So if you think about it, big, medium, large drug dealers, whatever, wherever they are, wherever they rank, right? Think about it. They're not spending their money in another country. That same money is being pumped into the economy. To your point, Ant.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we got. We got to leave it right there. This is another subject and topic that we have to touch on again, and we got to go deeper. This definitely got to be a part 2 or 3 of this drug use in the world, in America. We really got to start looking into this and how we can clean it up. But guys, man, I got a special guest right now. K Mills is in the building.
Yes, sir.
He's live from Miami. He's live from Miami Beach. That man got the Miami Beach shirt on. The Miami Beach. He in Miami Beach. Hey, you can't tell me you're not in Miami Beach. So we're gonna go to your segment. We call it the K Mills Story to Tell segment. K Mills, man, I know you got a good one for us tonight. Take it away. Salute.
All right. Gotta feed these streets.
Yes, sir.
Right. So check this out. Me and Ant, we at this club.
Who?
Yeah. Hey, it's across from Purdue. Back in the day, it ain't open no more.
Okay.
It closed down. But this was back in the day. So at this point in time, this one Ant had that job, making that a whole bunch of money, unlimited funds.
Huh?
So we was the VIP king. Hey, we was known as the VIP kings.
Yes,
so we in the club chilling, me and Ant chilling, having a good time, whatever. So about 10, 20 minutes go by, we start dancing or whatever. That's when, our high school our classmates were in there, some of my classmates. So we dancing. Then one of my homeboys come through. So, he speak or whatever, but he lurking already in the background, like he don't like the way we got all these chicks partying with us. I'm like, so cool. I'm like, cool, it's all good. I ain't thinking too much about him because I'm having a good time. So about 10, 15 minutes later, my homegirl come in. This white chick. Yeah, she bad too. And she get down, buddy. Now this where everything went crazy. And now my homeboy, is looking like, I know he ain't got no white chick too. Cause he like white chicks. Oh, pretty boy. I'm gonna call him Mad Rapper. So the Mad Rapper, he better looking mad. So the chick come give me a hug. We start dancing with them. We dancing. So I'm like, yo, I said, I'll be right back. I got to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom. I'm like, and I'm going to the bathroom. So he walked that way too. So we come back. The white chick come right back to me, dive on me, hug on me. Before we start dancing, she said, yo, is that your home over there, the Mad Rapper? I'm like, yeah. She said, he just said that y'all ain't got no money. I need to deal with him. I said, what? I said, it's like that. So I start dancing with her. He tried to come over there and dap me up again. I brushed him up like, go on, man. I don't want to hear it. So then he sent one of our classmates over there, Redbone. She started dancing with me. And now the white chick like, all right, now this white chick can get down now. She hood, she'll fight. I'm like, nah, you good. So I told the chick, my classmate, I'm like, yo, I'm a Donkey Kong, you better quit playing with me like that. So she said the Man Rapper something over here. So she ran back over there with him. So we kept pointing. I said, yo, Aunt, you know what? I said, pull the car to the door at the club. Yes, sir. They made it a raid room, buddy. Ain't nobody ever seen it. He just got it. So let's go on outside.
Here, not this Ant. It was
hey, so we go on outside. We get in the car, open all the doors. We playing Future Freak Hoes. So the club let out. The chicks come out. They like, whoa, who is that? Who's them dudes out there in that Range Rover? Them celebrities or something? So we just chill laughing. So they walk to the car. They're like, oh my God, that's Ant and Kenny. What y'all got going on? So now there's chicks all around the car, man. They twerking, everybody out there twerking. I'm out there dancing, slapping butt. I'm doing everything. I'm wilding. Then the white chick come out there. I jump back in the car, play it off like I won't do nothing. So she talking to me. Then the Mad Rapper come out. He looking like, who is them dudes? So he goes to Ant's side. He go to Ant's side. He like, yo, what y'all got going on? So Ant like, yo, chilling, man. He said, nah, y'all doing something. He like, Ant like, yo, I went to college and I got like 2 degrees. He like, nah, I went to college. We like, yo, you dropped out though. How you gonna have money? He like, nah, K Mills, front me something. Like, yo, man, we ain't doing nothing like that. Yo, so that man brushed him out. He pushed him out of the way. The chick pushed him all out the way. We cut turkey. He just sitting in the background lurking with the mean look.
That's funny.
Oh man, this
Yes,
not
sir.
me now. This ain't me. He ain't talking about me. He talking about the other end. That other end.
And thanks to that night, Los, thanks to that night, I got the Donkey Kong something.
Hey, we don't know what end he talking about because hey, Captain Venture Partner, make sure y'all go invest into Captain Venture Partners. Hey man, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna take our break. We gotta go take our break, man. But this is the Hustle Within, episode 24, SM Enlightenment Television. Let's holler at our sponsors, Forever Young. Ladies, I know it's been cold. It's been a little chilly. But I still need to see these sundresses immediately.
You need to see them.
I
gotta feed these streets.
Sundresses immediately. She got sundresses. She got dresses. She got short dresses. She got mini dresses. She got little shorts. She got tight shorts. She got every. Yeah, I need to see something soon. And it's supposed to be 80-degree weather all next week. So, ladies, I'm gonna be looking for the sundresses, and make sure you visit Forever Young. Also, Captain Venture Partners, just like K Mill was saying, that dude Ant, that guy we don't know him that well, but
big money.
Think I know him, but his name.
Leave your wallet home. Leave your wallet home.
Leave your wallet home, Ant. Him. Make sure you go invest with these guys, man. King C. Los, the money man. K Mills, the money man. This is the Hustle Within. Make sure, man, you keep it locked, man.
I'll let me
right
man.
back after these messages. Yes, sir.
Oh man.
Oh, we back.
Uh-oh.
Man, I was just drinking some orange juice. That's it. I was drinking orange juice and cranberry. Now, make sure help you out a little bit. This weather, the seasons is changing. But
yes, sir.
A little orange juice and cranberry juice. But man, we back. SM Enlightenment Television, The Hustle Within, episode 24. Man, we in the building. We're gonna jump right into it, man. We got the barbershop segment. Y'all got me tongue twisted over here drinking this cranberry juice and orange juice. Hey,
yes, sir.
Check this out. I got a good question for y'all guys, man.
Keep on it, son.
So, K Mills, King C. Los. Okay. Have you ever caught yourself have you ever been caught in a compromising position? That's the question tonight. A compromising position. I know the one that said, I'm gonna go with him first. K Mills, what you got for me?
I mean, I already told that one.
Hey, we need to hear about it, man. You ain't told me.
I already did it. I did that one before when I was in the courthouse. Yeah. I'm gonna let Los go first on this one.
All right, King C. Los, what you got for me? Now, it don't have to be. It can be. You can be. You could have been a kid and you were watching one of them cartoons and your parent walked in and you jumped out the window.
Because I'm walking and I'm talking. Hey, Mom, what's
Hey, it could have been one of those type of situations. You never, I'm just trying to make sure.
No, hey, listen. I was not shy as a kid. I'm like, hey, can you bring me some oatmeal or something? If you're gonna run up on me.
Watching cartoons. You could have been watching one of them cartoons. You get what I'm saying? Cartoons and all of
Yeah.
No. A sister or brother walk in, they say, whoa, wait a minute, and you jump out the window.
Oh man.
Compromising. It's a compromising situation.
I got one. I got a good one.
Okay.
Go ahead, K Mills. Go ahead. I got to think through this.
So check this out. My homeboy had this Indian chick, right?
Uh-oh.
So he told me to drop him off. I'm like, yo, it's broad daylight. He like, yeah, I'm good. Just drop me off. So okay. So I dropped the man off. He goes in the house. He in there chilling. This one we 14 or 15. He in the house chilling or whatever. I said, I'll be back in 30 minutes. So I leave, come back, ride back by there. We ain't got cell phones. I'm like, yo, he ain't came out yet. So I said, I'm finna go to my other homeboy house. So I pulls up at my homeboy house. Then my other homeboy, the one I'm supposed to pick up, he in there shaking like he'd been running from a dog. So I'm like, yo, what's wrong, Rap?
Oh my God. No,
he like the dad. He like the dad came in there and heard a voice. He said he hid in the closet. So he said he was still in the closet. The dad left out and came back. Then they said, wait a minute. She's still talking. They opened the door, seen him in the closet. He said, you stay right there. He went to go get the sword. He said he jumped out. My homeboy jumped out the one. There's about 2 stories. Landed on his leg, messed his ankle up.
Man, I don't know. That homeboy crazy.
Shaking like he freezing.
Man, I hate
I've been in those situations.
Oh man.
Yeah, those
shaking like you're
those. I've been in those situations, being like,
now see,
but I ain't gonna talk about that.
We said you now. Have you been in a compromised position? Not your homeboy, you.
Yeah, I was with him.
Yeah.
All right, King C. Los, what about you? Compromising position?
Yeah, it's probably similar to that. You know, getting caught. Getting caught. I mean,
was you the homeboy?
I mean, I think we all get caught.
You might have been the homeboy. Was you the
homeboy?
Right. Wait a minute now. You might have been the homeboy now.
No, buddy. No,
okay.
No.
You was
caught
in
is
New
never
Jersey then, right? You was in New Jersey at that time.
Yeah, I was probably 15 years old.
Yeah.
15 years old. And I remember the girl I was dating, she and I were in some compromising positions. And her little brother walked in, and so we both froze like mannequins, like maybe he don't see us.
Man.
But
I don't know if he won't see me.
Man, did she get her? She got tore up. Her mother. He told her, and I felt so bad. I was like, I said, is that swelling gonna go down anytime soon? I still like you, but it was tough, man. It was crazy.
And I had a compromise similar to what Kate Mills was talking about, but that wasn't me now in that situation. That sound like something that I would have been caught up in, but I wasn't. It wasn't me now. I'm drinking over the news now. It wasn't me. It wasn't me now. Hey, one of my stacks of magazines that wasn't me. But it was one of those situations where I was entertaining a young lady, and her mother walks in and catches me in that entertaining, and I had to do a backflip out the window and escape with my life. But yes, it was similar to what Kay Mills was talking about, but that wasn't me. That story wasn't me. But it was similar. Like my story was similar to that, so I did.
It won't the same me.
It won't the same me now. It won't me now. It was a similar situation, but it won't me.
Hey, now, he didn't just put his feet all in their couch now.
Yeah, I might have been by the same time, about 14, 15. Yeah, I might have been around the same age. I must have been somewhere else though. When that story that Kate Mills talking about was, I must have been in Connecticut probably. I probably was in Connecticut during that time. But yeah, I done had a couple of them type of compromising positions as a youngster, because you get involved with that stuff, man. You hanging out there, and you get yourself caught up. Young
man.
That's how it works.
It's all good.
I've been in a compromising position where I caught other people in compromising positions. I don't walk in on people, I don't walk in on I don't walk in. I don't walk in on all types of stuff. Be like, man, what is this? What you got that midget?
Oh man!
Why you got that little person? Why you got that little person doing that rap? Come on, rap.
Oh man!
Yeah. But yeah, man. We are. We got a special guest tonight, guys. Special guest. She's a mother. She's also a journalist, and she's also on the same network with us. She's also on SM Enlightenment Radio and television. She's very lovely. She's a Delta, I believe, and she went to A&T. She's an Aggie. We want to bring her in. We got to bring her up on the hustle. I've been telling her to come up on the hustle for a minute. Well, her name is Michelle Turner. Bring her in.
All right.
You're a Delta, right? You are a Delta, right?
I am, and today is my Delta-versary. I've been a Delta 15 years.
15 years, okay. I just want to make sure now. Okay.
So I have on my red. Yeah.
You don't have the elephant on. You got no elephant?
I do, but I'm, since it's about me, sort of, kind of,
Okay.
I don't want to do anything to,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah,
what I
about it.
mean?
Yeah.
Kind of keep it
Yeah.
separate a little bit. But I got on my red, and I got on
Okay,
red
that's good.
lipstick, and I threw up my mids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can do a real good mid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
Tell these great listeners that we got about yourself, where you from, background, some of your history.
let's see. Well, first of all, you have to know that I'm digging K Mills's shirt
Yeah, he
Well,
might.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
he
you.
might.
because I was on a board. I was a board president of a schooner. That's a ship. And I was probably the first Black woman to do that for this
Okay.
organization. So I learned a little bit about ships. So I got a lot of respect for the whole yacht and schooner and anchors and all that kind of stuff. So shout out to K Mills.
Well, thank you. I so appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Michelle Turner. Let's see. Born in Chicago. At that time,
Okay.
yeah, at that time, my father was in the Army. My mother had gotten her first job, and it happened to be in Chicago. My mom is the first woman to be inducted into the Hall of Fame for sports in Mississippi Valley State SWAC conference.
Oh, wow.
At that particular time, she still held a record for points. And I think she's small forward, I think.
Oh yeah, that's what I played.
Yeah. And as it turned out, she later became a coach. And I don't know how how much you're familiar with women's basketball, but my mother had three people in Division One, most notably Tracy Claxton, who went to high school here, but played for Old Dominion with Nancy Lieberman. And they won they won the championship that year. Tracy also played in Kansas. My mother had a young lady named Karen Pye Drawn who played for Cheney State and took them to the Final Four. Sabrina Johnson, who played for St. John's and became a coach here in New Haven. So my mom, was this larger than life person. My dad, on the other hand, was a very cool guy. You say, "Hey, Mr. Turner, how you doing?"
Hey, Mr. Turner, how you doing?
That's that Georgia in him. My mother's from North Carolina. My father was from Georgia. And my dad was a very bright guy, very humble, played quarterback in college at Albany State, but started out in Morehouse. And he ran out of money. So he went to the Army, came back, went to Albany State, and he and my mom met in Eatonton, Georgia, which is a little bitty town. But my dad's first student was Alice Walker, who wrote The Color Purple. And rumor has it the first story that she wrote, the first set of plays, revolved around my father's math class. So, I'm from these people who have worked very hard, very bright people. So, born in Chicago, lived in Georgia for a little while, came to Connecticut, and I was like, this kind of culture shock. It's a culture shock a little bit. But, Georgia was a culture shock too, in a lot of respects, because saw my grandma kill a turkey for Thanksgiving. And I was like, oh Lord, y'all don't have no stores? Where the store?
Man, what y'all gonna do with it?
What y'all gonna do with that? She looked at me and said, in 2 days, that's gonna be some good eating. And I was like, okay, guess so,
Oh, man.
So, landed in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and that's where my other grandmother migrated here from North Carolina. And she worked here for many, many years. And my mom and her brothers, my mom's the youngest of 8. My father was the youngest of 13. So their families were spread out between Newark and Connecticut, the older brothers and sisters, as well as the Midwest. So we landed here. We moved from the hood in Bridgeport to the suburbs of Hamden, Connecticut. And so, again, another culture shock, you know, because now all of a sudden there's all these people who don't look like me.
Yep.
And that is a different kind of life. There are enough of us, though, but to give you an idea about my high school, we only have one high school. My class coming in had 1,000 people. And with that class, within that, 45 people were Black. One was Hispanic. And he dropped out.
He started fixing houses and stuff.
Yeah, he was like, "I'm out of here." So he left. And so it ended up, we had 44 people graduate, you know? So went to school in Boston for a hot second, hung out in the radio station. Started liking this guy. And he worked at the radio station, so I would answer his phones. And so when I transferred to A&T, I was like, because I was going to be a history professor, you know, kind of following the family footsteps, teach, still might do that. But at that point, that's where my head was, you know, teach Black studies. I wanted to go to a HBCU, teach Black studies. And when I left Boston, I was like, I might give this radio thing a shot. People say I got a good voice. I don't know. Let me give that radio thing a shot. So I went to A&T and I worked at first for the campus station. We were the first people to work for WNAA 90.1. And at that time, it was a 10 water. And dare I say it on the air, that was kind of our little hangout spot.
Okay.
So when the sponsors came, like the university president and the advisor, you know, all of the big time people, we were like, kill the shades! Because all you could see on the building, like on the roof, was where we had drank beer and thrown the cans out.
Oh, man.
Uh-huh.
So like, kill the shades! And God, to God be the glory, because God had it rain. So we were like, okay, well, we'll just close the shades and turn on the lights. And they came through. Nobody ever questioned why the shades were down. You know, and we kept our money for another 2 years.
Yeah.
So fast forward, left A&T, came home. My initial thing was, though, I wanted to be a roadie. I wanted to be a roadie and I wanted to be a producer. But I was told that nobody would take me seriously as a producer. And I really, truly needed a crew of men with me to be in the studio because I could be harmed. I could be raped, all kinds of stuff. Nobody would respect you, blah, blah, blah. So you really need to have a crew of folks who people respect. And I didn't have that. You know, I'm
too
just
bad you didn't know us then. You didn't know us then.
No, I didn't know y'all then. And I wasn't in Greensboro anymore. I had come home. So started out, you know, I was working a temp job at the hospital. And where I live is where Yale University is. So the hospital is Yale, New Haven. So the part of the hospital that I was in is in the hood, but there was this huge store, right? It was like a wholesale discount house. And I used to get all the fly stuff. I'm a young woman. I'm living at home with my parents. So on my break, I go over there, buy shoes, suits, blouses, whole nine. Now I'm working temp and I'm fly. I'm coming in there drop dead every day, right? So my boss says to me, if I train you, will you work for us? Will you let me hire you? And I was like, I got this degree. I want to use this degree. So I think I'm going to go with the degree. I wish I had gone with him because by now I'd be retired, living pension, you know, living in Florida somewhere chilling. But, you know, the vanity of having a degree. No, I want to go ahead. I want to do this. So I started out working overnights at WNHC. And WNHC was a small urban station. I mean, real small. Like until I came along, they didn't even do overnights. And so I started doing overnights, and I know, my classmates, people I grew up with, people I went to high school with, people were listening. So there was a young man that I grew up with who was in the contraband pharmaceutical sales. And he said, Shell, I heard you last night. I said, yeah. He said, I like your show. Tell me how I can buy some time. And I was like, what? He said, well, I got a perfume business. I said, okay, well, I got a perfume business.
Yeah, pollen.
King C-Los is smiling. He know the deal. So I said, okay. And I gave him the salespeople's numbers. And my boss came to me and said, in all the years I've been running the station, we've never had anybody buy time overnights. And I was like, okay, well, it's just somebody I went to high school with. I knew him, grew up in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And she was like, but he spent a lot of money. So I said, he bought like 6 months worth of ads. So it kind of let them open the door to selling time for overnight. Now, I will tell you that initially, I wasn't crazy about doing overnights. Who wants to be up from midnight to 6? You don't know if anybody's listening to you, the whole nine, and the cool thing though was that my day stopped at like Thursday night was really Friday morning. So I didn't have to go in Friday, but I had to go back in Sunday night because that was Monday morning. And I worked with some really fantastic people. Turned out like WNHC was the little station that could. I worked with Hector Hannibal, who became vice president of programming for the Tom Joyner Morning Show. I worked with Dave Dickinson, who now works for Sirius. They call him Doc now, Doc Winter. But Dave Winter is the vice president of urban music for iHeartRadio. Tracina Gray was on the air almost 30 years in DC at WHUR. Lenny Green is in New York now working for WBLS. But we were a family. We all worked together. We did commercials. One of the best things I learned how to do at that station was to time a clock and to read a clock. Because when you're doing something like this, you have to be able to look at that clock and tell how much time I got left, how many questions can I ask, where's the record gonna run out, that sort of thing. So I learned how to read a clock, look at a clock, and now I can even listen after all these years. I can listen to a radio station and tell when the breaks are gonna be and how long they're gonna be, all that kind of stuff. And I learned how to cut commercials, which is one of the best things that you can ever do. Doc Winter and I cut the best commercials. And people got to the point where they were like, are y'all dating? I'm like, no, that's my boy. We just working, But it turned out that way. So I learned a lot at WNHC, and I'm always going to be thankful to the guys. And, some of the women I worked with. I don't know if Connie Marshall went back to North Carolina, but I know that she had left here and gone back. But I worked with a heck of a bunch of people. Cut Creator was one of because Cut Creator's from New Haven. And he was one of our mix guys. Doc, Steve, they were also part of our mix team, and they did their thing. In fact, Steve, the Grand Wizard Stevie D, was Doc Winter's intern. And that's how I met Steve, because I would be getting off of work at 6 and Doc would be coming on. So he would say, well, I got this intern coming in, so if he gets there a little early, just let him in. He's not a creepy guy. He's coming to work for us, so just let him in. So that's how I met Steve, and then I met Doc. So station as usual. Anytime you have a small radio station and it starts to make money, there's always going to be some controversy involved, right?
Right.
So people weren't getting paid like they were supposed to. And at this time, that's when ATMs had come out. And you could put your check in the ATM and get your money back, right? And so folks were putting their money, their check in, and wasn't no money coming out.
Oh, no.
And that was, for me, even though this was my full-time job, if I missed a paycheck, I was living at home with my parents at the time, right?
Yeah.
But you had grown men working who were supporting families. And if they're not getting your check, that's a problem.
Right.
Yep.
So, we moved to a bigger office, blah, 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 all of this. More money problems.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, I got to think about this because, this midnight to 6 thing is starting to get to me. I'd wake up in the middle of the day talking about, I'm late for work. My whole mental thing was shot because I had been, you work midnight to 6, you go to sleep like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and, you just have all kinds of brain fog. So I left. I went to work for the news powerhouse in the area. And I really didn't know because I was so young and I had a lot of mouth and, I didn't know what I was walking into. But I worked there another 5 years and then it came down to me leaving. But I will say that Glenn Beck was my boss. And that was an interesting experience because, now, he's gone on the air and talked about, in his early days, how he was an alcoholic and he did wrong things and he's apologizing, this, that, and the other. And there's a bunch of us that say, no, you were just mean. You're just a mean dude. That's all it was. You were mean. Now, the racist stuff and the bigot stuff, we feel like the more money Glenn made, it turned all of that into who he became. Because back then he was just me, plain and simple. But that's where I got my news chops. WELI was the news station in this part of the state. There was nothing else like it. It ran 24 hours. It carried Larry King, all of the real old school talk shows.
Mm-hmm.
And so here I was, a little black girl with all this hair, right? Big red hair, just curly all over the place. And I would walk in, I'd be very quiet, and I would do what I had to do. And then I would get on the air. So from 3 to 6, they would send me out and I'd, be a reporter on the street, do different things. Then at 6 o'clock, I would come on the air. So I'm on the air. It's 6 o'clock. And this newscast is about 20 minutes to show you how long ago this was, because people don't even do that anymore. And I'm on the air, 6:20, and our U.S. Senator walks in. He says, "You got one of the best voices I've ever heard in my whole life." And I was floored because, I'm doing my thing. I'm reading, I'm editing, I'm, doing sound. So my head is not in that. And so it seemed like after that, people began to recognize who I was. But the catch was they didn't know I was Black. And they certainly didn't know that I had gone to an HBCU, So people say, oh my goodness, how'd you get all that training? Like, I'm an HBCU grad. That's what we do. That's how we get down. Colloquialisms. Yes, I know what that means, and I'm using them. I also speak Ebonics. And so stuff really got a little complicated there. And I caught my boss and 3 other people on tape talking about everybody in the station, including me.
Compromising position.
Yeah, a very compromising position.
Yep.
And so I had this tape that somebody had put in my box because he said, "Oh, here's your audition tape, or here's your air check." And I said, "Okay." And I put the tape on in the car, and there they are talking about how, now I'm going to age, I'm going to, date myself. Talking about how could Bill Clinton let his daughter go to schools in D.C. with all the jigaboos? Like, what? Like, I pulled car over, red tape back. I'm like, what? What did they just say? And then there was this whole conversation. And my boss said, now this is the general manager of the station. Guy says, well, the girl that you have on, we really don't know how good she is. My boss said, but she got pipes. She can speak. People like her. Not getting rid of her. And then they went into this whole conversation, about the new GM and how she was giving people head and just crazy stuff. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be rich.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to be rich right here. But they flipped the script on me. When you're young and you don't have the life experience for certain things, people can turn stuff around on you real quick. And that's what happened. Even though I had a good attorney, like he's one of the best in the state of Connecticut, and he was a listener. And so he would always say to me, anytime you need anything, just let me know. So I said, okay. So I left there, fast forward. I had decided I was going to have this California life, right? Went out to LA for 2 weeks, hung out with some real cool people. I don't know if you know what a showrunner is, but basically those are the folks who do a little bit of everything to make a show go. Mm-hmm. And I met the showrunner for Living Single. And so I got to see a couple of episodes of Living Single taped, like maybe 3 episodes in one day. So I spent a lot of time in the studio. But I also had a conversation with Unetta Boone, who became like the showrunner of showrunners during her time. And so she was like, when you come back, come see me. I came back and I got pregnant. And I was like, damn, okay. Guess I gotta be somebody's mama now, And I had to really think about it because I wanted my daughter to grow up around family. If I had taken my baby and gone to LA, that wouldn't have happened. You create families in those situations. But in that particular instance, I wanted her to, know my people, know my sister, know my aunts and uncles, and have that village. And I stayed. And unfortunately, last year, Unetta Boone died. And when I saw her name up on the screen for the BET Awards, I was like, I know that woman. But I couldn't, the whole thing had left me. Mm-hmm. I had forgotten about it. And I was looking through some papers that I had, cleaning up, and there was her card. I was like, oh, snap. So I hadn't even given any credence to my LA life. I hadn't thought about it in so long. So got pregnant, had baby. I'm home. And I'm starting to itch, right? Because I'm listening to all these newscasts and I'm seeing all these people, and I'm like, and the folks that I worked with at WNHC were blowing up. They were always in some periodical. I was always hearing about them, And at that time, I was just trying to decide whether I was going to teach or be a reporter. Mm-hmm. And something said no. Just keep doing what you're doing. So I became this real working parent, you know. I had this kid who's smart as girl is brilliant. And you know, parents always say that about their kids, right? But I will tell you, when my daughter was 6 years old, my uncle said to her, "So I heard you wanted to be a doctor. Do you want to take care of babies?" She reared back and looked at him. She said, "I don't want to be a pediatrician. I want to be a veterinarian." And he was like, "That's don't ask me. I don't know. I don't know. But now she's gone. You know, she grown and gone. So, but I had this kid. I had an uncooperative partner, and who really didn't know that was what I did for a living. Because I kind of, the beauty of radio is that you kind of get to travel underground. You know, people don't see you every day. It's a voice thing. So I could, you know, I was in places I had no business. That's why I said I could pull back my hair, put my hat on, hang out with y'all. There was a lot of places I had no business. All hours of the night. And so I met this guy and we got together, and then, you know, this whole thing. And then when I got ready to go back on the air, he was like, "That's not what you do." Like, okay. So ended up being a working mom, taking my daughter to work with me a lot. My daughter turned out to be a great public speaker. And I ran a radio station, have sent people to CNN, Northwestern School of Journalism, interviewed everybody from Curtis Sliwa, who hung the phone up on me because I was in his case, Julian Bond, the organizer of the March on Washington, his partner, Bayard Rustin, Fred Hampton's son, Dick Gregory, which was 2 hours, and I had to edit it down to an hour and a half. You know, so it's been a good life. You know, it's been a good life. I mean, I can't complain about it. You know, I met people in the music industry that I'm still friends with to this day. You know, I regret not leaving Connecticut sooner, but it's been a good run. I think I am the only Black woman still on the air doing radio consistently in this state.
Oh, nice. Well, I mean, hey, I had no more questions. I mean, you pretty much covered everything.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'll let K Mills do his bonus question, and then we're gonna do your shout outs. And
oh yeah,
hey, it was a pleasure.
This definitely gonna be an easy question for you. So, do you ever think women NBA players ever gonna make the same as men?
That's a good question. It's a tough question. I think when we start to take women's sports seriously, then yes, we will, you know, and it may happen in this decade, but it's going to take another 10 years for us to get to that point. You know, you look at Major League Soccer, right? And they were winning more than the men, but the men were making more money. And people are finally beginning to see the injustice in that. You know, case in point, even here, you know, UConn's women, they're at the Final Four, the Elite Eight every year.
Every year?
Yep. Every year.
The men, maybe. You know, I ain't cheered for UConn since Kimber left.
That was the last time they won something.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think it's coming. I just think it's going to be a slow and deliberate process.
No, definitely. So, Michelle, you have any shout outs, handles you want to give out? It was, like I said, it was great having you on the show.
I'm sorry. I feel bad
No,
because I didn't let y'all ask any questions.
You covered everything.
Oh, you answered all the questions.
You answered all our questions
them.
in one question.
You answered the questions.
You answered all the questions.
I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed.
That's the best time.
Oh, no, that was great.
When you answer all the questions, you have to answer.
Yep.
You have to
You
ask
had answers.
questions.
All right, let me shout out because I know how it is when you got to wrap up. So let me shout out. This is my Delta anniversary, New Haven Alumni Chapter, where I was made. Of course, my family, you know, they're always great. My baby Mia, I love her to death. She's now a Brooklynite, so kudos to her. You can follow me at Journalist06 on Instagram. I am Michelle T06 on Twitter, and Michelle Turner on Facebook. And I want to shout you all out for having me, for letting me run my mouth freely. Believe it or not, that's a case of nerves. I do get nervous.
Okay. Well, hey, it was a pleasure having you, and we got to bring you back. We definitely, because I got to hear that part 2 of
please. So I'll be quiet the next time.
No, I'm definitely have you back. I'm definitely have you back because we want to hear more, because you seem like you have a very interesting life, and we definitely want to bring you back.
Yeah, and I'd love to share some of that experience. So please, I would be honored to come back.
All right. Well,
all right.
It's a pleasure. You have a good night, and salute.
All right.
All right. K Mills. Kings. What King C. Lowe said?
Oh, he gonna do that commercial, man. Wendy's having a new burger. He gonna do the commercial for that burger.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, K Mills, do your shout outs, your handles. Let people know where they can follow you at.
All right. I'm gonna give a shout out to Doc. Always. Dr. Ant. Shout out to Ant. Shout out to Los. And a shout out to Michelle, the guest.
Yes, sir.
Great story.
You down in Miami. Shout out to Miami. But hey, I want to give a shout out to Michelle once again. I only have to ask one question, and she answered all my questions. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I had the night off tonight. But Captain ENT, Captain Venture Partners, make sure you follow us on IG. The Hustle Within on IG. SM Enlightenment Television Radio. Hey, this is The Hustle Within. Shout out to King Los, K Mills, Doc P. Y'all have a good night. Salute.
To strive.
Yes, sir.